Clements, and I'm delighted that you're with us tonight for our candlelight service, our Holy Day holiday service tonight. And you received, no, we're not going to do that yet. We're going to sing. Yeah. We've got songbirds in the house. We're going to sing. If you feel it, stand up and sing along, sing in your chair.
And who are those songbirds?
Yeah, they're kind of light, but I'm going to do that part later. They're the mystery guest.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleigh song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Soon the bells will start, and the thing that will make them ring is the carol that you sing right within your heart. A pair of hop-along boots and a pencil that chooses a wish of Barney and Ben. Those that'll talk and will go for a walk is the hope of Janice and Jen. And Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Everywhere you go, there's a tree in the grand hotel, one in the park as well, the sturdy kind that doesn't mind the snow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Soon the bells will start, and the thing that will make them ring is the carol that you sing right within your heart, right within your heart.
Point of light. We are so, so blessed. Well, now, welcome to Scottsdale Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Jill Clements, and I am delighted that you were with us this evening for this very, very special service that we have each and every year. When you came in, you should have gotten a candle. Did everybody get a candle? If you did not get a candle, you raise your hand. Someone will be happy to bring you one. Anybody need? Mine needs a candle. Anybody else need a candle? All right, very good. I'm going to recommend that you set that candle under the chair in front of you or down between your feet, because we're not going to need it for a while, and sometimes we have a tendency to get wax on us, and it just is not a good thing. So I invite you to do that. I'll let you know a little bit later in the service when it's time to pull those back out. All over poinsettia here. And at this time, I am going to invite our practitioner in service. All of our practitioners are in service. Suzanne is in the back holding a high watch for us this evening. Joanne is going to deliver our invocation and prayer in just a few moments. And then Lori's going to be assisting with our world religions candlelighting service. So all of our practitioners are in service tonight. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate that very much. So with that, Joanne, I'll turn it over to you.
I almost said good morning. Good evening. Happy holidays. All right. So if you'd like, please join me in prayer. You can close your eyes. Just get comfortable. As we just relax into this place, we recognize that one life, that light, that joy, the laughter we felt, singing songs, community gathered together. We come to recognize that God, Spirit, it is all that one. It is all the same. Life source energy in and through and as each and every one of us. Everything we see and experience and all we feel. It's in the joy, the light that we experience this time of year. And feeling into this, recognizing and unifying myself with this one presence. I speak a word of prayer, of affirmation, and knowing that tonight that we are all here by divine appointment. We are all here to experience the laughter, the love, the song, the light, the word spoken by Reverend Jill. Just know we are brought here today to experience the love, the light that God is. And I just know that we are so blessed in this time, that we show up and express, that we embody the light that God is in each and every celebration that is to come, and each and every moment we embody love. We embody that light. It shines through us, expresses as us. So I give thanks for our time tonight. I give thanks for this holiday season and this sacred time to celebrate the love, the light, the truth that we are. I release this prayer now into the law that always says yes. Giving thanks for the blessings that we are, the blessing that tonight and all that is to come. And let it go and let it be. And we say together, and so it is. God's word. Long lay the world in fear and sorrow pining, till He appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices. Good night, divine, night, when Christ was born. Good Chains shall He break, for the slave is our brother, and in His name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise His holy name. Christ is the Lord. Let ever praise we.
Celebrating the Christ light as we do this time of year, I request that every year, Heather, so thank you for doing that song for us. It brings a tear. Yes, it does. So we're going to move now into our Candle of Faith ceremony, where we honor all faith traditions. Each and every Sunday, if you're with us, you hear our practitioners include in your prayer a prayer blessing all faith traditions and all on the journey of faith and exploration. And tonight we take time to pause and honor each one of the faith traditions. And in The Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of Centers for Spiritual Living and also the author of The Science of Mind that we teach from, he says, if we are to examine the basic principles of the religions of the world, we would find a great similarity. Each points to one central flame from whose self-existence all draw their livingness, and without which nothing could exist. So tonight we honor the faith traditions of all world religions, and we will begin by lighting the central flame that represents the light of God that is within each of us. Ernest Holmes also said, "The philosophy of religious science is nothing new to the world. It is rather a synthesis of the greatest concepts that have ever come to the mind of humankind. The wisdom of the ancient philosophers, the laws of Moses, the love of Christ, the ethics of Buddha, the morals of Confucius, and the deep spiritual realization of the Hindus all find an exalted place in the philosophy that is religious science." So as we join together with our brothers and sisters around the planet in celebration of unity and the many holy days during this season, the return of the light, which we talked about last week, tonight we're going to honor those faith traditions in lighting these candles, acknowledging both our unity and our diversity. So I invite you to hold these ideas in mind as we go through lighting the candles. We're going to draw into our celebration the qualities that all faith traditions teach us. Recognition of something greater than ourselves or our conditions. Honor and love one another. Compassion. Forgiveness. Living rightly. Seeking wisdom. Faith, knowledge, and devotion. And to seek peace in mind, body, and spirit. So holding each of these in our heart tonight, we will light a candle in recognition of all of the faith traditions and the people in those traditions. We first start with Judaism. Judaism is the first of the Abrahamic faith traditions. Christianity and its message of love and the birth of the Christ consciousness within us all. Islam and its 5 pillars of faith. The Eastern traditions of Buddhism, Hinduism, and Taoism. The indigenous traditions of Native Americans, pagans, and shamans. And for our friends who still question, the agnostics. And of course, for our very own New Thought traditions with its ancient wisdom and the teachings of the science of mind, divine science, and unity. So we always honor one another and appreciate our freedom to practice our faith traditions, our religions of our choice. And may we listen and learn so that peace may prevail on earth. So it is. Thank you, Lord. And so now I'm delighted to tell you about these beautiful ladies that have been serenading you this evening. They are, as many of you know, Point of Light, which is very appropriate for our evening tonight. And they are a quintet of lovely lady BFF artists who simply love to sing. They simply love to sing. The diversity of their musical styles, aptitudes, and backgrounds is part of what makes their music so unique. They are known for their multi-part a cappella harmonies and hold a shared vision to be a positive, uplifting, empowering source and force of love. Please welcome Heather Dubois, Jennifer Sheets, who's guest singing tonight, Vicki Andam, and Baby Lynn Isa. Thank you, ladies.
This is my wish for the world, that peace would find its way shine for harmony. Let love be the song that everybody sings. Ring the bells and raise your voice. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. Lift your light and let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine. Voice be heard. Let there be peace on earth. I hear the sweetest sound, the sound of hope to come. Together we could bring goodwill to everyone. Let it start with you. Let it start with me. Let every nation rise to sing this melody. Fill the air with joyful noise. Ring the bells and raise your voice. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. Lift your light and let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine. Let every voice be heard. Let there be peace on earth. Let every voice be heard. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. And let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Joyful noise, ring the bells and raise your voice. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. Lift your light and let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine. Shine, shine, shine. Shine, shine, shine. Let every voice be heard. Let there be peace on earth.
Thank you, ladies. Lift your light and let it shine. Let there be peace on earth. So it is. Beautiful song. Thank you so much for bringing that to us this evening. Well, we have been talking all month, if you've been with us, about living as the light. And we began with recognizing the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah and the miracle of the oil and the light. We then moved to the triumph of good over evil with the Hindu celebration of the Festival of Lights, Diwali. And then last week, of course, we talked about the winter solstice celebration and the return of the light, the return of the sun. Have you made plans for 3:23 tomorrow?
Yes, I have.
Yes, you have. 3:23 tomorrow afternoon. Set your alarm and pause to recognize that that is the time of the winter solstice right here in Arizona, tomorrow afternoon at 3:23. So even a pause to say, wow, I'm grateful the light returns. Because we know without the sun's light, our planet just simply wouldn't make it, and neither would we. But tonight we're going to move into the next celebration, and that is of the Christmas story of the birth of Jesus with our candlelight celebration, celebrating that light. And we have talked about many, many metaphysical interpretations of this biblical story. We've talked about the star, we've talked about the wise men. And tonight we're going to talk about Mary. We're going to talk about Mary tonight. From Matthew, we are told, "Behold, a virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel," which is interpreted, "Our God is with us." Our God is with us. Throughout this holiday season, we're asked to believe, aren't we? We're asked to believe about a star. We're asked to believe about wise men traipsing across the desert, following a star, avoiding an evil king. We're asked to believe about angels and shepherds and an inn with no room. And it's not only in these biblical stories, but we've made up some of our own in recent times, haven't we? We have a jolly fat man in a red fuzzy suit. We've got flying reindeer. We have elves that make toys. And we have snowmen that dance and sing. Yeah. And sometimes our human mind can think those things just aren't possible now, are they? Any of them. Any of them. We can have doubts around all of those things. Neville Goddard, my new favorite recent mystic, says that man must believe the unbelievable to fully express the greatness that he is. Unbelievable to fully express our greatness. Evolutionary growth. If you think 200 years ago, 300 years, whatever, flight in an airplane was unbelievable. It's not anymore. It's now become reality. We sort of know how that works. So the unbelievable, suspending our disbelief, if you will, is what can launch us evolutionarily into the next creative and wonderful thing. So I looked at these stories, the ones that are of more recent nature, the ones back from the Bible even, and what I've landed on this week as I've looked at this is it's really about faith. These are really stories of faith and believing in things that we're really not able to prove. And that's sort of what faith is, isn't it? It's believing in something that we may not be able to have concrete proof and evidence of. So what about Ms. Mary? Not something about Mary, no, not that. But what about Mary? What was her role in this story? Why was she important to the story? Why was she important? If there was no man required for that birth, for that conception, why was there a woman required? You know, makes you think. I remember when I was growing up back in Virginia, and we had vacation Bible school in the Methodist church. And as a little kid, I participated in that. And as we got older, they asked us teens to assist with the little ones. But this one particular year, we had a minister that wanted to work with the teens. And he was teaching us Bible stories, but presenting them in 1970s terms. So he was talking to us about the Christmas story. And he was telling us, that imagine, young ladies, that you're having dreams and visions and being told you're going to conceive. And you're saying, no, 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 right? No, 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 no. And you have a boyfriend. His name's Joe. And you wake up and find that you are pregnant, actually. So you go and you tell your boyfriend, you go, yo, honey, guess what? And he goes, not me, right? Not me. So now she has to go tell her parents. And she goes and she tells her parents, and guess what? They go after Joe, right? She says, not me. Not me. Well, this is the part of the story that's not really talked about in the Bible, is it? Not really talked, because it's not important to the story in the Bible, is it? It's not really important to the story. But in reality, that's probably what happened if the story happened the way that it's said in the Bible that it did. So, in the story, what's important is that Mary's the one that had faith. Mary's the one that had faith. She believed in the visions, she believed in the angels, she believed in what had been implanted in her. She believed in that, even when no one else did. So this interpretation of the story teaches us the metaphysical meaning of the virgin conception and birth, and it follows right along with science of mind. Imagine that. Imagine that. Science of mind teaches the universal creative process. You may have heard it, seed, soil, plant. You've heard that example? The idea planted into the law produces the manifestation that we see in form. Well, that's very much the same thing that this idea of the Christ consciousness being implanted in each of us, a part of us, that we allow to be birthed, manifested through us. And that's the story of Mary as the Virgin Mother, is that she was the receptacle, the law, if you will, through which the Christ consciousness was birthed. And it was not required to have anything outside of herself to do that. And the very same is true of each of us. We are the Virgin Mary, so to speak, in that we already possess within us that Christ light. And it's up to us to allow that to be birthed through us and to shine forth in the world. To shine forth in the world. Neville goes on to say in another quote, he says, "This birth takes place in us on the day that we discover our consciousness to be the Son and Savior in our world." That's an interesting metaphysical twist on it. But the birth is when we discover our consciousness, just to be the Savior of our own world, our own personal world. So our beliefs are the law of our lives. You've heard that it's done unto you as you believe. Our beliefs are the basis of how our life expresses around us. That is the manifestation. So the Christmas story is really a beautiful tradition and a reminder every year for us of this light, of this illumination, of this Christ consciousness that lives within us. That we too can have that elevated, if you will, expanded consciousness that the man Jesus had. That we already have that as long as we, you ever heard get out of your own way? Yeah, when we can get out of our own way and allow that to be birthed through us. It's a story of faith. It's a story of faith. An awakening to our own divine light within. In the Science of Mind, we teach not only to talk our talk, but to walk our talk, which means that we practice the principles. We prove the principles. That's one of Ernest Holmes' key points in his teaching, is that it's a heady teaching. Would you agree? Yes, it's a heady teaching. And until we can embody it in our hearts, get it out of our heads, get it into our hearts, get it into practice, and walk our talk, we're not going to embody this teaching at the level that we can. And this is about that idea of the Christ consciousness coming through us. So I'm going to invite us to suspend our doubt, suspend our cynicism. You know how you go into a movie, you sit down in the dark, you get your popcorn, and you're ready to be entertained, and you suspend your belief, don't you? You have transforming things, and there's flying dragons out there now. I saw in previews the other day and stuff. We suspend our sense of skepticism, cynicism, and doubt, and we go, wow, that's really cool flying dragon. So this time, this holiday season, believe in all of these stories, and let yourself become a place of that evolution of believing the unbelievable. Of believing the unbelievable. Holmes tells us we should learn to live by inspiration and to have joy in the thought that our life need not be borrowed from another. Mary didn't need someone else to give her the light. She already had it. But that each of us is allowed to add his or her light to the sum total of human consciousness, brightening the entire world. So this week, let's live as the light. As we light a candle, light the dark, and light our world. So it is.
Light a candle for the old man who sits staring at a frosty window pane.
moment and light your candles from our central flame. And then they will come to the ends of the aisle, and you will take the light from them. And you will take the light from them with your unlit candle, and then hold your candle for the person next to you to take the light from you. That prevents any little wax issues happening. So be careful out there, please, with your light. So, Point of Light is going to sing for us. We're going to sing Silent Night as we do this. And you're invited, of course, to sing along with them as we do this. And you guys can come on up and light your candles, Lori and Joanne. So remembering the words of Buddha, thousands of candles can be lighted from a single candle. And the life of the candle will not be shortened by sharing its flame. We're inspired to share our flame and our light with all the world, represented by our lighting our candles of peace, healing, hope, and love. Let us recognize the birth of the Christ within all of us. Knowing that we can never, ever extinguish the light that burns so brightly within us, I'm going to invite you now to extinguish gently your candles. And take this home with you if you would like, as a reminder that you are the light. May be lighted at 3:23 tomorrow, as a reminder of the return of the solstice light. Our candle light services are always a special evening in the life of our community, and it's one that holds a sacred place in our hearts and our memory each year as we continue our journey of awakening, expansion. Without you, though, we don't exist. So thank you all for being with us and for being Scottsdale Center for Spiritual Living. out, I would like to read a benediction that was written by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, in the Science of Mind magazine in the 1958 issue, which was just prior to his passing into his next expression. He says, "May all the power that there is be with you, and may the glory of the meaning of Christmas flood your consciousness with a light that is perfect and eternal, now and forevermore."
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish